You entrusted your loved one's care to a nursing home, expecting compassion and quality treatment. Instead, they suffered from neglect, abuse, bed sores, falls, or medication errors that could have been prevented. I'm Chris Brown from Geiger Legal Group. Our elderly deserve dignity and proper care, not negligence that causes pain and suffering. When nursing homes fail in their duty of care, we fight to hold them accountable. Your loved one's suffering matters. We'll stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves.
Call Geiger Legal Group at 833-HELP-GLG and let us tell your story today.
You snoozed twice this morning, spilled your coffee once, and you've already blamed last night's referee for your morning mood.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's time to embrace the chaos and step into the madness.
Bro, you about to see a side of me you didn't even know existed.
Featuring guests who are over-caffeinated and less reasonable than the average person.
Man, I think it's just ridiculous.
Come on, man. Are you serious? Ugh.
Fans, where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Welcome to the show.
So buckle up. It's time for hot takes and hot mics. This is the Morning Rant, where the only thing more unpredictable is Dave before his third cup of coffee.
I just felt like running.
On WPGY, the Sports Pig.
What's up, North Georgia? Appreciate you guys being with us right here on a happy hour Friday edition of the program. I'm Dave Garner, the professor, alongside the refrigerator mover John Davis, and we are here live at Bradley's Bar and Grill off of Lower Roswell Road in East Cobb. The third and final leg of our summer Bradley's Brunch and Lunch Tour. We were here a couple of weeks ago, John, celebrating Father's Day weekend, and now here we are 2 weeks later celebrating Freedom 250, man. It's July 4th weekend. A lot of folks, of course, are off today, and appreciate you guys listening in here on a Friday. John, man, how you doing, partner? What's going on, man?
And I'm so happy to be here, unlike yesterday. I don't know if you told everybody or not.
I didn't say a word.
I listened to a little bit of your show last night, which I thought you did a great job. You don't seem to need me that much, but that's okay. But no, I tell you, we talked about my sleeping habits and basically not having any. But yesterday I slept until 11:30.
Oh man!
Not
Not
knowing I had a show to do at 10. So
I was worried to death, man. Your wife was there earlier. We were joking around. She's like, "You had to be worried to death." I was like, "I was, man. I mean, it's not like John not to message back there, but no, man. Hey, good to know you're sleeping well, though.
Well,
I mean, that in itself makes me rest a little easier.
Well,
man,
one night out of the year, it happened to be last night, but no, I'm sorry for yesterday for missing, and I appreciate you covering for me. But no, it's great to be here. Our third installment at Bradley's, the big 250 birthday this weekend. John's got some $1 hot dogs, $2 sliders, $5 Bloody Marys, and looking to have a great day. John's been such a supporter of ours, and we're looking forward to working with him even more. But no, it's good to be here, and the crowd will be showing up here pretty soon.
Yeah, right now it's kind of quiet. We are indoors here today, too, by the way, Bradley. So if you come by and see us, you'll have to come inside, and that's not a bad thing today. I mean, temperatures are going to be back in the 90s again here today. So we made the executive decision. It was kind of funny. I messaged you last night, and we were like, hey, is there any way we might be able to go inside today, actually, in there? Because typically what happens when we're here is we're sitting out front on the patio, and then they've got the radio station playing inside so that people that are inside can listen to the show while we're outside. Today we're swapping it up. We're coming inside. If anybody wants to sit outside, we've got a Bluetooth speaker we're going to put out there so they can still listen to the show. But those are the folks that come to Bradley's today, and they want to come listen to the show. They'll have to come inside, which I'm sure they will have no problem doing. But we do appreciate you guys. Hey, what better way to celebrate the country's 250th birthday than with, the World Cup, and for the United States hosting it on their soil, the biggest sporting event. And I know we're football fans. We talk about the Super Bowl, but I don't think there's any denying, every 4 years, man, the World Cup comes around. It is the biggest, spectacle in all of sports. And the fact that it's here on our soil, and even here in Atlanta, which I feel like has really, truly been a hub city for the World Cup, man, what a way to celebrate 250 years this weekend.
Well, and the kids were at the Braves game the other night, I think on Tuesday night, and the truest area, what do you call the Battery, was absolutely packed. I mean, the stadium was packed for baseball, but outside they were getting ready to throw, after the Braves game, they were getting ready to throw a big soccer watch party, and that place was packed. I mean, the kids were like, "Dad, we can't even get in here," and they took Henry, and Olivia was able to, take Henry, and Julia and Luke went, and but no, the festival. Dave, you also think about other big sporting events that go like the Ryder Cup, or the President's Cup. Now we're sports guys. Now a lot of people understandably might not be watching the Ryder Cup, or just a golf enthusiast. Right. I'm telling you, everybody's watching the World Cup. Yeah, and this is for the U.S. I mean, Trump did something right. I don't know if he said he had a hand in it. I don't know if he did, bringing it here. But it makes you miss the World Cup when it's not in the U.S. because it's like you can't, Now, would I go to Europe? I doubt it. Or would I go to South Africa if they had it there? I kind of doubt it. The people that are coming over here, and what makes it so great is X. Because you're getting to see all these stories. And now, since some of the teams have been eliminated, they're going back home. And they're still following everybody on X and saying, wait a second, I just bought a hamburger at the Mercedes-Benz for $3, and I'm paying, $23 here for a burger that's smaller. So they're, Arthur Blank has hit a home run for what he's done at the Mercedes-Benz. So it's been, for them to come over and experience what they have, but also the positive comments that are coming back. It truly does, make you feel great.
Yes, it really does. It really does. Hey, our Jasper Coca-Cola text line is open and operating today, even on location. So we are able to take your text here today. Give us a shout, man. 866-888-0744. That's 0PIG for the bid. Again, broadcasting live here today at Bradley's Bar and Grill with Lower Roswell and East Cobb. The final leg, the third and final leg of our summer brunch and lunch tour here at Bradley's. The food is outstanding, as we've already kind of established that over the first couple times. I don't know what there's always a new wrinkle, it seems like, every time we're here. So we'll have to find out exactly what the angle is here today as the things get set to open up. We see some of the employees, of course, kind of working around, making sure that everything's ready to go. Man, they look ready to go, man. They look fired up. And so we appreciate you guys. Stop on by. I mean, if you're in the area, if you're anywhere around North Metro Atlanta, today, come on by and see us. We're kind of right in between Marietta and Roswell. I know you and I, we've got to take a field trip a little bit later on today over to the Roswell area there. We're in kind of the Marietta side of things here in Cobb over here in this Walton Raider High School district here today, this morning. But we'll be on there till 1 o'clock. Sorry, Chuck. Again, the Chuck Oliver Show. He'll be back on Monday with us right here with Southern Sports Today, the King of College Football. We're going to cover up Chuck here today till 1 o'clock and then back to our regular ESPN programming. And tomorrow, John, a big day for you and I. We'll be in Ellijay most of the day, man. And you got some parade duty.
Yeah, no, it's always good to go back home. And I tell you, you and I talked, last summer it was kind of fate with you and I kind of hitting each other up on the Marietta Square. Mom and Dad are gone, so I really don't get to Ellijay that much as I should, because I love the Rainies. Mark and Cindy, David Tutherow, Lee Penland. I try to get up. Well, usually when I get up, I just stop at Penland's Apple House and just see Lee. I don't get into town. So, so I'm tickled to death to be involved and a part of the parade tomorrow as the Grand Marshal. And, Kyle Ray, I think, is doing an excellent job, just from what I have seen and what you and I have seen.
Right.
The last 3 or 4 months and talking with Kyle and saying, this is Ellijay's hometown radio station.
Yeah.
So we're going to really have a great team aspect or participation with Kyle. We're going to promote the Gilmer Chamber. We're going to promote, and I've been supporting Ellijay since I left in '98. And you could ask any of my friends in this area, what do I, what's one of the first things I say, and it's always, you got to go to Ellijay.
Yeah.
You got to go see the apple country, and now the wineries, and they've redone downtown square. Now, obviously they've redone it over the past 15, 20 years, but I didn't go to the square for 20 years.
Yeah,
So I was like, I need to go downtown. So Olivia and I went a couple of years ago, took Henry up there and went to the rooftop bar. I forget the name of it, the Roof, that might call it. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And wow, what great food, what great service. And the scenery was great. And so it's really changed. So, I'm more excited now that I'm going to be able to get to go home more and kind of rebuild my friendships and relationships with the people that I grew up with, the people that watched me play through high school and college and the football and stuff. So, tomorrow's going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure it's going to bring back a lot of memories, be kind of emotional, getting to see a lot of people. But, no, I'm very excited and glad to be spending it with you.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been blessed. We've had a lot of great listenership on this program, as we talk about, and the Sports Big Ad station continues to grow. And we are going to make some announcements kind of throughout the morning and into the afternoon here, just a couple of tidbits to kind of throw at you a little bit about the direction where we're headed. But we do really get listenership from all over the places we've talked about, particularly on our digital versions of the show, our podcast version. I mean, that, it knows no geographical bounds, right? I mean, we have folks listening out of state, even out of country. But at the end of the day, the signal itself is in Ellijay, to your point. And so, again, it is basically a local station for Gilmer County. Certainly honored to be there. Pickens County as well, Cherokee County, of course, Spanning County to the north of there. So, yeah, we really do stand out. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been very exciting to kind of be a part of it. And for you guys to listen in. I mean, we're just totally blessed to have the audience that we have. A lot of things we're going to get to here today. When I'm looking down the rundown today, obviously World Cup, the Braves. What happened to that bullpen last night? A lot of different things. The Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift wedding, I think, is tonight, if I'm not mistaken, at Madison Square Garden in New York. Big talk of the town there. A lot of NFL news we're going to share with you today, some tributes as well. Wimbledon getting underway here. Of course, the NHL to Atlanta is something that we've talked about. We're going to hit the recruiting trail, talk a little Tech UGA as well. High school power rankings. Again, a lot of different stories right here. Even some WNBA, man. We're going to throw some things in there as well. But I will tell you, it was an interesting day yesterday. We were joking around about, you kind of slipped in a little bit. I got to a little kind of. I got to it, and we're up against the first break, so I'm not going to say a whole lot about it. But I kind of got a little bit of a fender bender. It wasn't my fault. I got rear-ended on the highway yesterday, and it is what it is. Those things happen. The biggest thing that I think was so disappointing about that situation was the fact that as people are driving by, as if it was my fault that I'm pulled over on the side of the road, they're hanging the bird out the window, man, and they're yelling at me like, "This isn't a parking lot." I mean, like, really? Like, you think I just pulled over on the side of the road in 100-degree heat for my, just because I want to be here with another guy? We're just hanging out in the median. Like, it made me lose a little bit of faith in humanity. So that's the first rant of this 3-hour program here today. And because, trust me, I'm my worst behind the wheel of a car. I have very little patience. So I understand the frustration people have, and I'm one of those people that says, oh, they should have been paying attention, But, I mean, my gosh, I was cussed at. I was given the finger. I mean, and I was the one that got rear-ended, waiting on a cop to get there.
I'm going to share some of my Lexapro with you so you'll calm down a little.
Hey, we're just getting ramped up right here, man. We got another 2 hours and 45 minutes to go right here on this Friday happy hour edition of the Morning Rant presented by your friends at Bradley's Bar and Grill. We are live at Bradley's today, the final leg of our summer brunch and lunch tours. So come on by and see us. If not, keep it locked right here. We're going to have a lot of fun as we ring in the July 4th weekend officially right here on the Sports Big. Keep it locked. Again, we are at the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the Sports Big app and online at sportsbigradio.com.
Make your home's air healthier. Green Heating and Cooling can help by installing a Bryant Evolution air purifier just for you. Using Captures and Kills technology, this highly advanced MERV15 filter captures many select airborne pathogens. It also helps improve indoor air quality for both asthma and allergy sufferers by filtering air impurities like dust, pollen, and pet dander. Call to schedule an evaluation. Green Heating and Cooling, your top Bryant authorized dealer, whatever it takes.
Big opinions. of the big games, from the big mouths.
Man, I think it's just ridiculous.
It's the Morning Rant on WPGY, the Sports Pig, North Georgia's home for ESPN Radio.
Sit down. Me, I'm
Here on Friday happy hour. Thanks for being with us right here. We are live at Grizzlies Bar and Grill. Once again, you're off Lower Roswell Road at East Cobb. Dave Garner alongside the refrigerator mover, John Davis, joining us here during this Friday happy hour special Freedom 250 edition of the program. Hour number one officially kicking off here. We'll be on there until 1 o'clock today. So come by and see us, man. Great, going to be a great vibe here today. We are set up inside, so don't get scared away and think you got to sit outside in that heat if you don't want to. When we got here this morning, though, it was actually kind of nice. I mean, it's kind of breezy. The heat has not kicked in quite yet. You know what I mean? So, if you want to get here a little earlier, but you still want to sit outside, you can do that. But we are we're set up here inside today, which, is not. I was trying to figure out, like, hey, what are we going to do? I mean, are we going to bring fans? Like, how are we going to handle this? And like we said in the first segment, you and I we made an executive decision last night, and thankfully our friend John Capone obliged.
Well, I texted him after I talked to you, and he's like, dude, what are y'all going to do? And so he's like, let's bring it inside. And I said, thank you. That's why I was texting you.
He was totally
those fans are great outside, but when they're blowing 100-degree air, it's still, it's not that great.
It's air.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still air, but
tomorrow's going to be the big test.
Tomorrow's going to be the big test, and we're going to be out there just as long as well, and Ellijay sweating out with everyone else, though. So again. We're going to be hanging out there enjoying the July 4th festivities. Meanwhile, just for those that are listening, in case you're wondering, I do want to mention that over on our sister station, 101.1 The Pulse, they will be broadcasting live tomorrow from Dalton and Calhoun. We've got, again, our team is going to be split up tomorrow. So technically, under the Carriage Radio umbrella, we're going to be in 3 different places tomorrow simultaneously, broadcasting, doing some social media, doing some different things. So again, we hope that you'll join us either on the Pig or on the Pulse tomorrow as we celebrate Freedom 250 for you right here.
You know, Dave, to be, sorry for cutting in, but to be what you would consider a small town radio station, the Pulse is all over the place. They are all over the place.
Giant,
and I know you had told me some stories a couple of weeks ago where the Chattanooga stations were coming over and they were like, dude, y'all got it going on. And for people to understand, the Pulse, when I was growing up, used to be WLJA. Bobby and I forget the owner after Bobby was there. Bobby Rooker, I think was her name, and she was a sweet lady and everything. I actually did a little sports show once a week with her while I lived back in Ellijay. But you look at Ellijay and Jasper as well, and you think how can a radio station in a small town like that be as powerful as it is? And of course, I mean, every time we talk, you're either not you all the time, luckily, but Cartersville, Calhoun, Dalton, you're all over the place. The Pulse is all over the place, so it's great to have a partner like that as well. And kind of gives you a good name, knowing that you're kind of following them and kind of really in a way we are piggybacking them a little bit while we get this station up and going, and which is going to take a little time. And I know we had talked about growing pains and stuff. I think we had also talked about, if I could say, we were going to try to start the show July 20th.
Right.
But, as you said, as we talked about the other night, we are experiencing growing pains, which is good, so you got to do a little work either to the office in Ellijay or the one in Jasper. So we're going to push that back, I think you said, until like the 3rd.
Yep. So first big announcement right here on the program coming in the second block of this first hour. We are expanding the show. It is going to go to 2 hours. It's going to go 7 to 9 in morning drive. However, due to some renovations, and to your point, we are having to work on some of the buildings. We are having to do some renovations. That timeline, a little bit out of our control, but that timeline got pushed back. So we're actually going to plan on, instead of a July 20th launch, which, I mean, still could potentially happen, but we're going to just safely say August 3rd, which is the first Monday in August. I was going to say August 1st, but that's a Saturday. But again, August the 3rd is our target now for our 2-hour live show of the Morning Rant Sports Big at 7 to 9 on WPGY, the Sports Big, of course, on the app and online at sportsbigradio.com. So, again, it's an unfortunate thing, but like you said, it's a good thing overall because it means we are growing. We are having to do some other things to be able to get to that point. So it's coming, and it'll hit right before we start high school football, and college football and everything else as we see our teams in training camps and so forth. It's basically right when we're going to get the 2 hours. And we're going to have no problem. I could sit here and gab on all day for a 3-hour program, and it's not even football season. When we get into football season, 2 hours is going to be no problem.
No, not whatsoever. I'm looking forward to it. I've already been in touch with Andy Demetra down at Georgia Tech. He wants to talk, and he's going to promote our show and help us out a little bit. And then we're trying to get to the point to where we can go down to Georgia Tech. There's some things that Darren's working on, obviously, because 680 The Fan has the rights, and we understand that. But Darren has a great relationship with 680, and so we're trying to figure out how we maybe can team up with the Jewish fraternity, AEPI, and maybe do a couple of broadcasts, but pregame shows. From their fraternity house, which fortunately for us, Bill Fincher, my agent, lawyer and great friend, he parks right in front of them. So we would have a lot of fans there, and so we're going to work through that and see if we can get down there and have some fun, go to a couple of games. I got to ask you a favor. I'm actually
here we go.
I actually am going to be in Raleigh the Tennessee weekend.
Okay.
Henry and Hudson and Romeo with another friend are getting baptized on that Saturday. Thankfully, Olivia pushed it to like 10 in the morning, and so I'm going to be catching a flight back. Thankfully, the Tennessee game, I think, is at 7.
A night game, I believe.
It's a night game.
I think so, yeah.
So I might be asking you a favor to pick me up from the airport, and then we'll just go. we might have to broadcast out of the varsity parking lot, but at least we'll be down there.
But at least we'll be down there, exactly. Hey,
there's worse places.
I was going to say, we'll definitely work that out. Now, excited about it. You were talking a little bit about, Tennessee, Georgia Tech, this, that, and the other. So we'll go ahead and make another announcement right here as well as we kind of keep it rolling. And we'll do this again because we know not everybody's listening maybe necessarily right now. They may tune in the second hour, third hour. You guys are listening to podcasts or whatever version of it may hear it later as well. But it does look like very much that we're going to welcome Alabama Crimson Tide football to the Sports Big this year. Now, traditionally we've had Tennessee on and Georgia Tech. We're going to continue, of course, with Tech as well. We've got Georgia, of course, over on the poll. Talked about nothing changing there, but we are excited to announce that it does look like that we will have Crimson Tide football live this year to replace Tennessee. And I know that's not going to make a lot of Tennessee fans happy, but most of the Tennessee fans that you talk to, they've got those set stations out of Chattanooga, out of Knoxville that reach down at our area that they listen to. But we feel like that, a lot of the Alabama fans, and there are a lot of them for whatever reason in our area, in Ellijay, Jasper, and different places that don't necessarily have that flagship that they listen to. So we're going to kind of become that flagship for them this fall and have Alabama football on. Still through all the kind of, the final things. We got to work on the coaching shows and that sort of stuff. But it does look like WPGY, the Sports Big, in addition to being home of the Atlanta Braves, home, of course, cup racing for NASCAR, Georgia Tech, obviously our high school sport, things like that, as we talk about. We're definitely looking forward to potentially having some Alabama football on us as well. So, again, a lot of things happening right here with the Sports Big and also with our show, the Morning Rant. And we appreciate you guys keeping it locked right here on the dial. Going to talk some Braves in the next segment.
Do we have to?
Well, real quick, maybe just one just to address it and we'll move on. Big decisions, though, I think, coming up. And we're going to talk about the game last night and kind of some different things that have happened over the last week or so. But when you look at this Braves team right now, I think that Alex Anthopoulos is the guy that certainly got some decisions in front of him come the trade deadline. And who would have thought that we would have been having this conversation about the Atlanta Braves after the start they got off to? We kind of knew even after the first month or two that, okay, to keep this pace up is probably unrealistic when you really break down this team. Our buddy Will Cooper, the golden boy, he has a saying, look at the back of the baseball card. That usually tells you the story that the medium is going to even out at some point over the season. We're seeing that. But it's one thing to even out. It's another thing to have this drastic, off the cliff dive that the Braves have done over the last few weeks and really even over the last month and a half of the season. So we are going to talk about that here in just a moment. But I guess, John, man, your initial thoughts about this Braves team is they had a bullpen meltdown last night, which has been rare, but, just another falling apart game.
Well, I think we've covered it over the last 3 months that we knew that this day was going to come. Look, I went back, I did some research last night. I didn't realize it, but Philadelphia, I think, lost 11 games in a row, about midway through
early on there,
early on. So, and, now, you know what? All the Braves have done now is it's going to make it exciting.
Yeah.
It kind of pisses you off. You're mad
Right,
because you got a 9.5, 10-game lead.
Yeah.
And you're like thinking, okay, let's get the All-Star break. Let's get everybody healthy. Let's get them rested. And then what happens? They blow the 9.5, 10. I think it's 2.5 now, maybe
double
2.
at one point. But
they got to fix the problems. And, Dave, I didn't bring it. It was on my other computer. I was looking at the batting average and stuff, and I'll be honest with you, if you look at it, they're on par. I mean, they're as a team, they're batting like 260, 262, something like that. Austin Riley is just horrible. I mean, he is just playing horrible, and I don't know what it is, what's going on with him. I think, and we've talked about it, I think they need to sit him down for a week, just or put him in a room with Chipper. Do something because something's going on because he is not getting out of that slump. I think he strikes out a little bit more than a third at the time. And I'm just like thinking to myself, something's in his head, something's going on.
Right, yeah.
And so, and that's not to say some of the other players haven't stepped up. Some of them have, but they're to me, they're playing average. They're just playing average baseball. And I to me, it's a sign. I might have told you this the other day. To me, it's a sign. Are they really that good? Or are they really that bad? Or they just average.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you look, you Chris Sale, you got Strider, you got your pitchers, that you get solid starters, but consistency, you know this as well as anybody else, consistency in baseball over 162 games, you got to have it.
Right.
Now, obviously, I think the Braves are 2-8 or 3-7 the last 10 games and stuff, but they got to figure something out before. I think they got to figure it out before the All-Star break. I think they've got 10 more games before the All-Star. I'd love to see them do a 7-3, 8-2, go on a nice little run. Of course, you don't want to have a nice little run, and then you got the All-Star break to
cool you off,
cool you down. But I think right now, if they're and listen, Philadelphia's I think 8-2. They're playing some fantastic baseball. But the games that the Braves have left. The ones that the Phillies have left are all before this All-Star break. They all have losing records. The Braves, I think they've got St. Louis. I want to say Detroit, and whoever they start playing this weekend. The Mets has the worst record, but they're still playing decent baseball.
Right.
And then Detroit and St. Louis again. They're obviously playing good baseball too. So. They gotta fix it somehow. What that looks like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
So we'll just wait and see. But sometimes you just don't even want to. I didn't even turn it on last night.
I was going to say, probably a good thing you did. You wouldn't have been happy. We're going to continue that discussion on the other side of the break and talk a little bit about the Braves. You have the Mets in town for a 4-game set into Monday. Speaking of Monday, U.S. men's national team Monday night against Belgium in the round of 16. We'll talk about that coming up as well right here on the program. We are live here at Bradley's Bar and Grill off of Lower Roswell Road in East Cobb till 1 o'clock today. Come by and see us as part of our Bradley's Brunch and Lunch Summer Tour, the third and final leg here today. Come on by and see us. We'll be right back right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the SportsPig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Welcome to your hometown pub. Open 7 days a week, the pub in Ellijay is your happy hour hangout. They offer a variety of dishes to satisfy every palate, and their friendly staff is here to ensure a wonderful time. Join them for daily happy hour specials Monday through Thursday. And don't forget, every Wednesday is Wing Wednesday with $1 wings all day long. Located at 941 Maddox Drive in East Ellijay. Open Sunday through Wednesday till midnight, Thursday through Saturday till 2 a.m. The pub in Ellijay, where every visit feels like home. We bring the heat. You bring the trash talk.
Come on, man. Are you serious?
It's the Morning Rant, live on the Sports Big app and sportsbigradio.com.
Back here on Friday. Happy hour. Thanks for being with us. Dave Garner alongside John Davis, the refrigerator mover. We're live here at Bradley's Bar and Grill off the Little Ross Road in East Cobb. Getting set to entertain some folks here, man. We get set to open up these doors and let people on in here. And we hope to see you guys, at some point today. Hey, temperature's going to be in the 90s today, man. I mean, so come on by here, grab a refreshment, stay hydrated. Once you get here, though, Bradley's will take care of you from there. Again, man, wings, delicious wings, food, the menus. Again, our friend Dr. Keith Riggy, by the way, our chiropractor says he's going to come by as well. He was bragging on the food last time. He told me the other day I went in for my normal, back cracking and all that stuff and adjustment. And he was telling me, he goes, man, those mozzarella sticks are for real. I mean, like, you weren't lying about those mozzarella sticks and those wings, man. So, again, a lot of folks complimenting the food here at Bradley's. Again, it's been East Cobb's #1 upscale dive since 1998. And so come on by and experience it, man. Come by here and say hi to us. Meet Big John Davis in person right here, sporting the Georgia Tech shirt. I know you got a buddy here, Damien, that's also got his Tech gear on as well. I went with the USA polo, man. I got this little Perry Ellis polo here yesterday. Got the little flag, embroidered on there. Trying to rock, some like World Cup and USA stuff.
You got to be a little neutral. I understand.
And I'll
get a Tech shirt on you one.
Well, you'll get Tech shirt on me. And but I do have a surprise, man. I'm breaking out tomorrow when we're in Ellijay.
All right.
That I'm going to be wearing there. It's very very USA. No, very USA. But I'm gonna be breaking it out tomorrow, man. So I hope to see you guys.
No Speedos.
No speed. No, it ain't nothing like that. Ain't nothing like that. Promise. We'd run the crowd off there. No, but anyway, hey, we were talking about Braves before the break, and we'll kind of wrap up, and then we'll maybe revisit later in the show if we have time. But you mentioned Austin Riley, and that's been a point of contention, something that we've talked about a lot. I've mentioned it over the last couple of days. We talked about it on yesterday's program about, what are they going to do with some of these guys? And I think that, Alex Anthopoulos obviously is going to have a lot of decisions ahead of him come the trade deadline on August 1st. I think the biggest thing, and one of the things that you've been really good at, and I don't know how much of the show you listened to yesterday. I did brag on you and talked about how well-rounded you've become as a radio host, because now all of a sudden, you're not a one-trick pony. You're more than just football. You're baseball as well. One thing, though, that you do like to look at with baseball is, runners in scoring position, runners left on base. What do those averages look like right now? For the Braves right now, it's pretty dismal.
Well, I just look back at it to see what's going on with the game, and you try to, I guess, and Coop I know is good at this because, he's got the predictor, and I know he's a big Braves guy, but I pulled these out just to take a look at them and at the beginning of the season, and then I'm going to stick with it for the rest of the year. But are the left on? So the last 14 games, I went back and looked at. The Braves have left 120 players on base in 15 games. That's almost about 9 a game.
Yeah.
The opponents, 151, players have been left on base. Runners in scoring position and batting average is kind of what I look at. And out of the 120 left on base, the Braves have only got 16 hits, which is 133 batting average, which tells you it's not very good.
They're not getting the timely hit.
They're not getting, there's nothing wrong with hitting a single. There's nothing wrong with getting people on base. The opponents, on the other hand, have gotten 36 hits, batting 238, so they're batting a whole 100% or percentage points more than Atlanta. And so I dug down a little bit more, just looking at it. Now these are nerd statistics and stuff, and I admit sometimes once I get my head into things, I can't lose it. The Braves opponents have had 31 more at bats, 20 more hits. That comes out to a batting average of 646.
Wow!
So they're getting timely hits, and the Braves aren't. And so you have to look at that. You have to look and say, we can't keep leaving 10 players on the left on base every game and not getting them in. Excuse me. And so again, we all love the long. And that's the long ball. Chicks did the long ball, and we understand that. But my goodness, 16 out of 120.
Yeah, that's not good.
You got. I mean, hell, bunt. Do something to move somebody over. But they just haven't been doing it. And so and that's just a little snippet, and I have to, but and I watched Walt Weiss. I had a couple of interviews the last few days. He seems very calm, seems very collected. Doesn't seem like he's worried, or from what I have been watching. And so, hell, if he's not worried, maybe we shouldn't be worried.
Maybe not,
But
well,
as a fan, you're watching this and you're like thinking, come on, listen. Everybody loves to see, going into the last week of the season, there's 9 teams battling for 4 spots. I'm not one of those guys in baseball.
Right,
I want to be wrapped up in September.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't need that kind of stress in my life anymore. So maybe Walt's got it figured out. I don't know. But just this little snippet of stats. It's. You're leaving 10, 15, 12 people on base every game. And you're not driving them in. You got to figure something
that's
out.
going to catch up to you.
I think it is. But I'm done with it. They got 10 games before the break. They got killed last night. You said that I didn't watch it. I was watching soccer, and you said that the relief pitching kind of blew up.
Yeah.
But it's. Maybe they need the All-Star break just to get it fixed. Some of those things. I remember playing. And if you came up for a timely off season or off game, off week, sometimes Marv would just say, "I'll see y'all next Thursday,"
right,
of the off week, and so that's maybe that's what the Braves need. Maybe Walt just needs to say, "Y'all get the hell out of here." Your game's on Sunday. You don't play again till Friday. Get out of here. Get back here Thursday or Wednesday, whenever they do, and then just drop it for 3 or 4 days and refresh your mind. Just don't do anything stupid, and maybe that's what they need. I mean, I don't know, because I think we were really lucky the first part of the season because it wasn't hot.
Right.
And now you step outside and you're thinking, oh my God, what is this? Is it heaven or hell? I mean, because the weather is so. Summer is finally here, and it takes its toll on the players because, I don't think I could do it. I think baseball is one of the hardest sports. I think hockey's the hardest, just everything that they have to do. And I think baseball is probably the second hardest because, dude, you're standing outside. I don't care what anybody says. Standing for 3 hours is hard. And then plus you've got to be ready. Every play comes up, so you're sitting there for 15 seconds, all jacked, and then you're resting for 30 seconds, and then you're getting jacked again, getting ready again. I tell you what, that takes it out. As an athlete, I remember that as playing football. Was that, I had to realize when I got off on the sideline, I needed to sit down and kind of tune out. Because you needed that. Listen, I needed every bit of oxygen I could get.
Yeah.
But you know what? You get into a game and it's like, well, hell, I'm sitting here playing against Barry Sanders. I got to get up and watch him. Because I'm never going to see anybody like Barry Sanders again.
Even if you're on the opposite side of the ball.
Even with Walter Payton, even with Eric. I mean, watching Eric Dickerson was a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
So that kind of screws your on the bench time because you want to watch him, but then you want to get rest. But then you want to watch him.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So you got to figure out. So my case to that was I just came in very in shape, and that way I could do it all.
Yeah, there you go. That's the best thing, man. I love it. Yeah, Braves the loser last night, 11-5. They gave up 7 runs. The bullpen did in the 7th inning. Up until that point, they were right there in position to win the game. One of the few times this year we've seen a bullpen implosion by the Atlanta Braves. That has been the best part of this team throughout the first half of the season has been their bullpen. They're still amongst the league leaders in ERA and bullpen and so forth. They've been solid. Last night, roughed up again. We saw Hurston Waldrop get the start there, 3 earned runs in 5 innings. Kenley comes in, gave up 3 earned runs. Dylan Lee uncharacteristically gives up 3 earned runs as well. Hamilton an earned run. I mean, everybody last night gave up at least one.
Everybody participated.
So everybody participated. Nobody was a spectator. They were all participants last night in that 11-5 drubbing, which, by the way, Braves again lose that series. They lose 2 out of 3 to St. Louis here in Atlanta. They got a 4-game set against the Mets. I think this series is going to be a very telling series for the Atlanta Braves seeing how much the Mets have struggled. Now you've got them here, 4-game series over the weekend into Monday. Let's hope that maybe the Braves can get something turned around here against their division rivals here. Hey, we're going to go ahead. Yeah.
And they might not make up any ground against Philadelphia, but if they could somehow get 3 out of 4, then you're on a positive. You're getting more positive
little trajectory. Yeah, exactly.
So,
a little bit of momentum right there.
Just got to see something, just something positive.
I think all Braves fans are looking for that right now. Just something positive out of this Atlanta Braves team. Hey, thanks for being with us. We are live here at Bradley's Bar and Grill off of Lower Roswell Road in East Cobb, again celebrating the kickoff to our Freedom 250, again, July 4th weekend. Come on by and see us. We'll be here till 1 o'clock today. Again, you're listening to the Morning Rant, our Friday happy hour special edition for you right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the Sports Big app and online at sportsbigradio.com.
Financial scams are on the rise, and with AI, they're getting more and more sophisticated every day. If someone pressures you to act quickly, ask for secrecy, or request payment through gift cards, wire transfers, or cryptocurrency, stop. Legitimate financial professionals don't rush you or demand unusual payment methods. Before you send money or share personal information, slow down and verify. Protect your future. When in doubt, ask questions.
If you're suspicious of a scam, call the team at Foundation Wealth today at 706-278-0214.
Morning Grind with Fort Grind.
Welcome to the show.
It's the Morning Rant. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 on 98.1, 93.7, and 101.1 on the H2 dial. WPGY, the Sports Pig.
Back here live at Bradley's Bar and Grill. Thanks for being with us. We are live on the radio and right here on the dial at 98.1. 93.7 FM, also 101.1 on the HD2 dial, AM 1580 as well. We welcome all our listeners here, of course, on our podcast version. Visit us on our social media. Again, the Sports Pig on Facebook, the Morning Rant, as always, on Instagram, and also episodes on YouTube. Again, the podcast version of the program, as we mentioned, available on our website every day, sportspigradio.com, and wherever you listen to your favorite daily podcast on all Apple and Android platforms, including Spotify, Podbean, you name it. Again, Dave Garner here alongside John Davis as we welcome you in live here, the final leg of our Bradley's Bar and Grill, again, brunch and lunch summer tour. And as you mentioned, John, man, the weather finally feeling like summer. Boy, it's a hot one today.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to complain because I told Hester we were sitting outside even a week ago, and I'm like, please don't tell anybody, but I'm a little chilly.
Yeah,
this is like the last week of June. Yeah, but no, summer has definitely arrived, and we're definitely feeling it. Thank God that we're inside.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's hey, it's July. It's supposed to be hot.
It's supposed to be, right?
Exactly. We got to enjoy it. We got to, we're here. So,
we're here. That's what it's all about.
Let's enjoy it. But I was reading something we had talked about that I wanted to kind of talk about, maybe a little explanation, I guess, or a little, talking forward to Chris Johnson, the running back for the Tennessee Titans, got drafted in the first round back in, I believe it was 08 or 09. Just came out and said, came from East Carolina, had, some great years there. 10 years in the NFL. But the majority of his great years were at Tennessee. Then he had one good year, I believe, with the Jets. And then he kind of fell off the last 3 or 4 years with Arizona. Just came out diagnosed with ALS.
I saw that.
So it just got me thinking. And Chris is a young kid. To me, he's a kid.
Right.
So I did some looking around. I got online and was just, because we get updates through the mail, through our Retired Players Association and stuff. Don't really get into the numbers as much as I would like for them to. There's still some things that they could do a lot better to help us. And look, I'm not complaining, but there is always something that you can do better, especially for the older players. We when I can honestly say and proudly say, I was part of the strike in '87. Was going to be part of the strike in '93, but the main reason we went on strike at the end of the day, Dave, was to help the older players out. At that time in '87, it was the pre-49ers. And people are like, pre-49ers, what are you talking about? That's so long ago. Well, those people are 60, 70, 80 years old.
Yeah.
And they didn't play with helmets.
Right.
So, so let's kind of reevaluate what we're looking at here. And so when we went on strike, that was very important to us that we took care of them. 93 came along, and we were going to go on strike. But, thankfully we negotiated. But then we were like, okay, we want to make sure that the pre-70s and the pre-80s are taken care of.
Yeah.
Because it has been widely known that the NFLPA or the retired, they don't help us out. They at that time, it's gotten better. I'm not gonna complain about it, but it could everything can always be better.
Oh, absolutely.
As you know. So we went on strike, or was going to go on strike to get those guys. So getting back to the concussions, the CTEs, we have a commitment with Boston University, and we're when we pass away, we're going to donate our brains so they can take a look, and I've agreed to do that as well. And I think just about all my teammates have agreed to do that, so we can make it better. I mean, hell, I'm not going to be here that much longer. Hopefully 30 years or longer, but it gives them a kind of a standard or whatever. I told you that I took a mental test of 4 or 5 years ago and passed it with flying colors. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah,
right. And I go to Buffalo and see 4 of my teammates don't even know who I am.
Yeah.
And so that worries me.
That's kind of a sobering reality.
Well, I tell you, I'm going to be honest with you. It makes you almost not want to go back.
Yeah.
Because if you knew me 5 years ago and how bad a shape I was in with my knees and my shoulders and my back and everything, today I'm golden. I have a bad day every now and then. I got 2 new knees. I got back surgery. My shoulders are getting better, but you still go to Buffalo and see your teammates, and it's like almost turns you into tears because you see that. So getting back to Chris Johnson, unfortunately, he was diagnosed in 2025 ALS. It progressed so fast that now he's having to use a voice machine.
Yeah.
He's in a wheelchair. He's having to use a voice machine. And so I asked a couple of questions online to kind of figure out, what's going on. And with these numbers, how are the numbers compared to everyday citizens and stuff like that? There is no evidence of that the number of diagnoses increased over time, but persistent and elevated risk had increased and risen. NFL players are more than 4 times likely to diagnose or die than the general population of ALS.
Yeah.
And so what they found out was they did a timing of years, and they categorized it. If you played over 7 or 8 years or more, you're more likely to get ALS than if you only played 4.5 years or less.
Yeah.
Which obviously makes sense because you're doubling the time that you're beating the hell out of each other.
Yeah.
And you're taking these shots. Now, as an offensive lineman, it's a little bit different because my contact is usually 2 or 3 feet. For a running back and a wide receiver, their contact's 10, 15 yards. And you've got a 250-pound Steve Atwater lurking in the middle field, ready to take your head off. And listen, I've seen Steve Atwater's hit me before. The dude's real. It's a real thing. Those DB, he's not even a DB, he's a linebacker.
Right.
But it's like, so the more years you play, you're going to likely have a chance to get diagnosed with ALS. And it's just amazing. And I know they're doing a lot with the helmets. I know they're making big inroads, and they're also putting the bigger helmets on. We used to call them, what was it, the kazoo, or that little cartoon character, I think.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, with the
big helmet.
Yeah.
Mark Kelso wore that for a couple of years.
Yeah, I remember that.
But you know what? You got to do it. And,
right.
And I don't see any of the players backing away from it. Hey, they're even doing it when they're not even when they're practicing with no pads on. They're still wearing them because, you know as well as I do playing sports. You fall down, you get your head on the ground. Hell, that ground's not moving, but your brain is, after you hit it. So they're taking a lot of precautions about it, but it's so sad to see this. Chris had 2,006 yards, I think, his 3rd or 4th year in the league. He also set the record for the most total yards from scrimmage, and I think Thurman might have held that for several years. And we always prided the fact on Thurman, getting his 1,700 yards, but Thurman would also get 600-700 yards receiving. So I think he held the record. It might have only been for a few years, but I mean, Chris is not a slouch. I mean, he was a great player.
He was a great player. Yeah, one of the fastest in the league.
Yeah, and I think he set the record for the most 80-yard touchdown runs, the most 90-yard touchdown runs. The most, I think, 80-yard touchdown runs consecutive in games and stuff. So he's he laid it out there, but you hate to see stories like this. I think what surprised me more than anything, Dave, was how fast it progressed. Because that's kind of scary when you see, and I've had friends here in East Cobb that had ALS. Well, as a guy that we went to Georgia Tech with, we were coaching his son in middle league or middle school football, and his father got it, and for about 3 years he couldn't tell anything.
Yeah.
Well, shit. Excuse my language. Dang. The next football season, he was in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And couldn't speak.
Right.
And so that's how fast it hits you. And so I don't even think he played football. I think this is just something that happened to him in his 40s. So I hate it for Chris, everybody always says, something good's going to come out of it. Well, something is good going to come out of it because he's probably going to raise money. They're trying to bring back the cold water bucket challenge, I think, which is awesome.
The ALS challenge.
Yeah, the ALS challenge and bring back to make the money and stuff. And you hate to see it happen like this, but, it's life. And, and I'm not going back to Buffalo this year. We're fortunately the whole family's going to take Hester out to Colorado to the mountains for her birthday. But next year I want to go, and I'm you're almost kind of worried about what you're getting ready to walk into.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's
because these are your teammates, man. These are the guys that you worked with for 8 years, 9 years, and even college. I mean, we got one of our buddies at Georgia Tech, Tim Mannion. I forget what kind of cancer that he had, but I saw Tim 2 years ago. I actually took him around Georgia Tech, and he went to a game the next day, and I spent a day with him. Just found out about 6 months ago he's been in the hospital with cancer. A bunch of teammates, we all wrote, get well cards and stuff, even though, unfortunately he's not going to make it. But we got an email from his wife last night, and she was just like, his whole attitude has completely changed. He would not go to hospice. He says, I'm going to beat this. She said that this, and it gives me chills, but she said, this note, I can't tell you how much this notebook and that y'all did for him, how it lifted his spirits and even the hospital spirits, because he's been in the hospital for 4 months. And she says, he's ready. So he went on hospice yesterday, and she said he got 2 good weeks with his kids, and he finally said that he's ready. And so, that's pretty hard, and he's a teammate of ours, and we lost another teammate 2 or 3 months ago. And so, I realize we're still young guys, but we're losing people, faster and faster than you would hope that would happen. So I wish Chris nothing but the best. I hate it for him. The NFL needs to keep, pushing forward and getting connected with the right people so we can. I don't think you're ever going to stop it because it's not curable. But, heck, if you can give another 4, 5, 6, 7 years, anything's better.
Right. Absolutely. Yep. First hour already in the books right here. Good discussion towards the tail end of this first hour. We're up against the top of the hour break. When we come back, we'll dive into some more talk right here as well. Thanks for being with us on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia. Again, the Morning Rant live here from Bradley's Bar and Grill, the final leg of our summer brunch and lunch tour. Come on by and see us. We'll be here till 1 o'clock this afternoon. Again, right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia. That's the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
When you get hurt from an accident, it can feel like no one is listening to you. The insurance company talks over you. The bills keep coming. It's like the pain and inconvenience doesn't even matter to them. But your story does matter. And here at Geiger Legal, we will make sure your story is heard loud and clear. My name is Casey Geiger, and my firm stands up for people who have been wronged through someone else's negligence. Let us tell your story. Let us get the justice you deserve. And let's start today.
Call Geiger Legal Group at 833-HELP-GLG. That's 833-HELP-GLG, and let us tell your story today.